like less CGI, but when he's like the delivery driver and stuff, I just found it distracting because he's supposed to be younger and they keep calling him kid. I'm like, this guy ain't no kid. What's up, YouTube? This is Drive-By Movies with an episode of Fresh Releases. And my name is James.
My name is Blaze.
And this week we're checking out Martin Scorsese's new thriller that just hit Netflix, The Irishman. I am so tired of you telling me that this movie is called The Irishman.
But I mean, being like, you watched The Irishman yet?
I mean, I guess essentially there's a lot of men in this movie. It's kind of
only one Irishman.
There's only one Irishman, but he speaks Italian though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's influenced from the war.
Yeah.
He spent time in Italy and learned how to speak Italian.
Well, first and foremost, I watched this movie exactly how Martin Scorsese intended me to watch
on your
it.
phone,
on my phone,
on a plane,
no.
in a public restroom.
No,
he wanted you to watch it on your phone in a public restroom stall for 3 hours and 30 minutes.
3 hours and 30.
Dude, I think I might do a meme of like your feet like near the toilet bowl, and then like I'm watching it
oh my gosh,
how the Godfather intended it to be watched.
That's exactly how Scorsese imagined it. Like, yeah, that was like the roller coaster of my life right there. No, I mean, it was just like, it's such a long movie to where, I started it at home, then it's 3.5 hours long. I knew we were going to review this movie and stuff. I was just like, well, I need to watch as much as I can in every like little small break I have. So like even during my lunch break at work, I just pulled out my phone, watched 45 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Then
how he intended.
Yeah, how he intended. Then I had some time because I had some other stuff to do. Like in between, I was like, let me watch some more of it on my phone. And then when I got home last night, of course, like I watched the rest on like the TV. But like, yeah.
I'd love to know how that impacted, because when we were originally talking about this movie before it came out, you really wanted to go to the movie theater, and you just stepped steep so low. Like it went from you being like, I'm gonna go to the theater, and then it just kept like, I'm gonna watch it on TV, and then you start watching it on your phone.
See, I had no idea though. It was a 3.5 hour movie. You told me that literally before we're gonna watch it. Like let's watch The Irishman. Like, but keep in mind it's gonna be 3.5 hours long. I was like, wait, what? I was expecting like, Scorsese movies are long. The Departed, 2.5 hours long. I didn't see Silence. That seems like it's a 3 hour movie. I don't know why.
2:45 or something.
But Scorsese, 3.5 hours long. Like, just make part 1 and part 2. Like, there's nothing like bad about it. Like, I mean, like Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions, that's very sequel. But Kill Bill Volume 1, Volume 2, do that kind of thing. Like,
I can understand why you would think that that's the way to watch it, and I've heard a lot of people saying if you want to watch it as a mini series, here's the points in which to press play and pause it. I've seen a lot of those, but honestly, after watching it, I think the only way to watch it is just watch the whole thing, or do it your own way, just as long as you see the movie. But I understand why it's 3 hours and 30 minutes, and like I think the best way is to watch it all the way 3 hours and 30 minutes. But I'll be honest, I didn't even watch it that way, because I started it one night, like late at night, got through the first 45 minutes, like literally couldn't sleep because it was like so good. I'm like just watching it first 45 minutes, and I'm like, I have to turn this off or else I'm gonna be up at 6 a.m. essentially. Then that morning I was like talking about it, and then I was like, oh Dad, you want to start it? So we started it, and I started again. Like I started again in the morning. We watched the first hour, and then like we had to go to Thanksgiving because it's for Thanksgiving. And I don't think he's ever gonna finish it, but like he wants to. He keeps talking about it. But I was just cracking up at. Basically, it's like, I think anyone should just watch it the way that you want to watch it. It's fine. Good I don't think there's any premiere way to. I think the best way could be to watch it all in one setting, but I'll be honest, I didn't even watch it that way. It wasn't convenient for me. I think if I was to pay and go to the theater and go see it, I think that would be the premiere experience.
I would have loved to have watched it straight through. Like, I'll admit it though, I don't have the bladder to handle it. I'm too old for that now. Like we saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I went to the bathroom at least 3 times. Like, I wish I could hold it. I just can't. Like like every time we buy tickets, I'm like, dude, make sure you get the aisle seats. It sucks, but just like that's just what has become of me. Like I used to be able to, but
have you tried like training your bladder?
I've been trying, but it's cinema. Like it means a lot to me. I'd love to watch a movie in a setting like that. I would have loved to have seen this in theaters. That still was my goal to do it, but just like I just can't do it, unfortunately. Like, and it's a movie where you kind of need to see everything, because there's a lot of tidbits with like certain characters where they only have like a couple minutes and stuff.
Yeah, but you got to watch it at home, so at least you got to pause it when you want to. So exactly. I think I agree with that. Like, there's no way sitting in a theater that you would have been able to hold it unless they had an intermission.
Yeah. That is what's great about it being on Netflix, though. Like, and I think, like, you know, Scorsese, like Spielberg saying like Netflix is killing cinema. I'm glad that Scorsese isn't on that aspect. Like, drama aside with the Marvel stuff, I can care less about that. But like, you know, if this is Scorsese's last movie, not bad. Like, it is a good movie. But I feel it's just didn't feel anything new to me though. Like, I found it weird also going. Like, there's a lot of stuff like I kind of picked at it and stuff, but like I wasn't really a fan of like CGI Robert De Niro. I just wish they kind of went with like a younger actor instead and just maybe.
I see that.
Yeah,
but I think behind the scenes about like having, you know, old Robert De Niro playing his younger, it's like weird. Like in your mind, you're like thinking about the making of it, because it's hard to separate the fact that it's not young Robert De Niro. I think the CGI is not that bad. There are scenes where it's not great. I think in the beginning it's not good. I think it gets better as the movie goes on.
Yeah, when he actually plays like his normal age, like towards like when Al Pacino gets out of jail and stuff, like that looks like him, and that's when there's like less CGI. But when he's like the delivery driver and stuff, I just found it distracting because he's supposed to be younger and they keep calling him kid. I'm like, this guy ain't no kid. And what's it called, he just has that old man stance, like his shoulders all broad and everything, and just like
they only changed his face, they didn't fix his posture. Like you could tell.
He's just like, that's an old man standing like, or it's a young guy but standing like an old man.
I mean, it didn't bother me. There was like parts in the beginning, and then when I watched it again the second time, it wasn't an issue. I think I was just nitpicking it like the first time I watched it, and I think like for me, I honestly loved it. Like I thought it was really good. There's a lot there. It is really long, and I know that's probably going to be a lot of people's problems with it, but I feel like the length added to how grand the story was of just this one guy's life and how he was in so many places at once in a way that have to do with American history, while also, you know, being in, you know, this crime kind of mafia history at the same time that the two intersected.
Joe Pesci's return, like, how are you feeling about that though? Like, I thought it was cool, like, to see him come back, and I was expecting him to be more of an outlandish character just because, you know, Goodfellas essentially, like,
or Casino.
Like he's, you know, always that like tough mob guy, and like, you know, here he is like a mob leader as well, but like he's not so much like the most brutal guy, never going in a crazy like cursing tantrum in this movie.
He's calling the shots, like, essentially, and I think I loved that more than anything, was seeing him back on the screen and as like this character that's, you know, in his old age, but he's like still calling the shots on how everything in the family operates essentially. Like you're right, he doesn't have those like scenes where he's just going wild, like, and that's what you expected, like seeing okay, Joe Pesci's returning, you expect that, but you see him like being more reserved, and, you know, just seeing him as a character, which is funny because even like my wife was like, oh, it's that guy from Home Alone. So it was cool to see him in a different role, and one that I really enjoyed watching. But I think the guy who doesn't steal the show or anything, but takes that scene, that like kind of the role that we think Pesci was going to be before the movie, is Al Pacino.
Right. I didn't like, you always think of him. Well, actually I guess they kind of go outlandish with a lot of the characters where you think that they're gonna, like, they're going outside our expectations, thinking that they're gonna be like what we've seen them do before, essentially. We don't get like the Scarface Al Pacino and stuff. Robert De Niro is actually pretty well reserved in this movie, despite him being like, you know, this hitman that's going through like, you know, working his way through to the top of the list and stuff, or like top of this crime gathering and stuff, to where like he's number one and like appreciated, and just like, but he's very low key about it and stuff, versus like Ray Liotta and Goodfellas. Like, I feel like I'm gonna make a lot of comparisons to Goodfellas because it's like the rise and fall essentially of like one man's story, like how he went to the top but then also like kind of came crumbling down.
Definitely, I agree with that. I think if I really had to sit down and think if I like Goodfellas, Casino, or Irishman the best, I would right now. This is something that I have to actually sit down and think about. But when it comes to the Irishman, I think I just really enjoyed the depth of the story, looking into Frank Sheeran's life, who he was, and his whole life as a span, whether it's, you know, him in the beginning meeting these people or when it's him in the end and he's the last one standing.
Right. Yeah, I agree with it. Like just being top notch with like some of the highest like quality crime films. I mean, even though those are also like Scorsese involved films and stuff, but like just like this is up there. Scorsese still hasn't. Just like whether or not this is his last movie or something, like it's a great way to end it. Like a fantastic movie. Like even though I had a couple gripes with it, mainly just the length, but overall like made it work, and it like is still a piece of art that's definitely going to be remembered for generations and decades. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys. We always appreciate this support. Make sure you leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of The Irishman.
After doing that, be sure to subscribe to our channel, and also best way to stay up to date with us is by hitting that notification bell.
Tune in next Thursday for a brand new video.